Hey everyone, I want to say Happy New Year, or should I say Happy Lunar New Year, or Chúc mừng năm mới to my Vietnamese friends. It is near the end of January, and I am now posting about my 2025 intention word theme for the year. If you've been following me, you know I've been doing this regularly now. This is my sixth or seventh time moving into the new year with a very intentional theme. And this is just something that grounds me or refocuses me when I'm making decisions, when I'm feeling things, when I'm feeling lost. It has been very, very helpful for me over the past number of years of me practicing this. And there's a number of you who we talk about this quite in depth. And so for you, I really enjoy having these conversations. I did a in-depth video about my 2024 word, which was why. But I didn't do so from 2020 to 2023 on YouTube, but I did do Instagram posts on those. So if you follow me on Instagram, you can go back in the archives and dig through my posts that come out around the new year. Perhaps I'll also just do a separate YouTube video summarizing those 4 years. So you can watch those and see how my themes have developed if you're interested. And it has been really interesting seeing how all of my words have evolved from the words or themes from all of the previous years. I feel like there has been a very natural progression. So last year, like I said, there is a video about that, which I can link below, which goes in depth about it. But just to remind you, the word, the theme, my guiding principle was why, just questioning everything. And the 2025 word is enough. Like so many other words, small word, a huge realm of possibilities, huge realm of how it can be used. There's a very obvious, basic material application of having enough things, having enough things to survive, having enough clothes, having enough things in my house. When you really pare down materially what is actually enough, not wish I had, nice to have, but actually what is enough to have, most of us will realize we have more than enough. And that is a great way to start feeling like you're living an abundant life. And if one of your goals is to try to limit excess or superfluousness in your life, it's a great way to just start. I don't need to buy that. I already have enough. It's a very quick and easy way to implement that word. Another way this word could be applied is if you perhaps are a recovering perfectionist or chronic overachiever or recovering people pleaser, all things that I have been in my life. And it can help rein in that drive and impulse to always go above and beyond, to always do extra, to always do more than what's asked, to show your competence, your capacities, your capabilities. Chances are you already are contributing way more than enough, and often this can be followed by feelings of resentment or bitterness because you may feel that you are not receiving recognition or appreciation for all of your efforts. And I find that when you dig a little deeper into why it is that you do these things, for me, sometimes it was always raised in a way to be helpful and to demonstrate your competence and excellence. But really, I realize what it comes down to is that you are trying to prove your worth. And what I have learned in my life is that if you don't know your worth, others will put that on you. And if they can get more out of you, they will. That is human nature. And so unless you are able to truly value yourself and recognize your own contributions and know your own worth and place appropriate boundaries around those, people are not going to respect you. It wasn't until I really started valuing my worth in many areas of my life and imposing boundaries. And you don't have to be cold about this. If anything, I have found people respect you more and honor your time and services more. So I feel like deep down, this stems from a lack of self worth. And I'm not talking about not having a standard of excellence or not being helpful or not being flexible and contributing when it's needed. Of course, we need to be all of those things, but it's that line of knowing how much is enough to demonstrate your value versus doing more to prove yourself, because at that point, people are just going to start taking advantage of you, and people don't respect those that they can take advantage of. And like I said, it is great to have a standard of excellence, but maybe it is redefining what does excellence actually mean. It doesn't necessarily mean being the best, or it doesn't necessarily mean having all of these things. Sometimes if you're asked to write a report, a good, solid, tight report is enough. Okay, this kind of tangents me into communications. In my day job, I communicate a lot. I communicate verbally, I communicate in writing, I communicate to some very high up people, I communicate to my staff, I communicate to the public, I communicate under very tight deadlines. Having good communication is less is more. It's not about big words. It's not about a lot of blah, blah, blah. It's actually about taking out the fluff and being able to convey ideas and decisions and pros and cons in ways that are clear and concise. It is knowing what is enough. Anything additional is actually fluff. So I often use that value system and then implement that in other areas of my work. Our definition of a good communicator is actually someone who's able to convey more with less words, not less with a lot of words. Another area where this concept of enough can be helpful is socially. So both in real life and in social media. So let's start with social media, because for me, that is kind of like the easier one to tackle. So people who are on social media sometimes are chasing after having more likes, more followers, more posts, more content, etc., etc. What is enough? Like, say you get so many extra followers. Who are they? Maybe currently you have some people that follow you, that engage with you, that value your work, that give you business, whose opinions you actually care about, who you respect. What value is it going to bring to you to have all these other additional randos following you? Same as posts. I often hear other creators say things like, oh, I don't post enough. Like, according to who? Who is counting? Who is counting how frequently you post, and who is counting the number of posts you post? I'm willing to bet nobody. So that's an easy one to just be like, yeah, I'm doing enough because no one actually is checking. So then moving into real life social. People often feel, especially women, that they need to be out more, have more friends, be in more groups, do more activities, have more community. I mean, these things are great. They bring a lot of value to my life, but maybe you have a great group of friends. Do you really need more? Why do you feel like you need more? Do you have people that love you, who you can turn to in times of hardship, who can offer you support? Do you actually have the time to devote to new friends? Because I know I have enough friends. Not saying I am not open to inviting new friendships in my life, but I do not need to seek out more friendships for the sake of quantity. Once you have that feeling of abundance, of a surety that I have enough love and support and people in my life, then you'll probably find that the friendships that you do attract are of better quality because they are coming from a place of wholeness. It's not coming from a place of I'm seeking out new friends. And so there is this sense of lack that you're trying to fill there, which can sometimes lower your standards because if someone's there and they're kind of nice, like maybe that becomes the standard of being a friend. Whereas if you already have a very full life with great friends and the standards set a little bit higher for you to therefore make room for those new people. And I'm not saying this in a exclusionary way. I'm saying like let's strive for quality instead of quantity because quantity often comes from a feeling like you don't have enough. I'm just going to touch on the concept of being enough or good enough in dance because I primarily identify as a dance channel, and most people know me as a dancer being a huge part of my life, which it is. And I have engaged with a lot of dancers around conversations of being good enough and self-esteem and confidence, etc. And I have posted about this before, so I'll just speak really quickly on this. And this is the feeling of inadequacies that might come up if you are hired for a gig or to be in a show or to be part of a project or to teach at something. And people feel like, oh, am I good enough to do this? Is what I'm bringing going to be good enough? My response to that is that people already think you're good enough because rarely they'll ask you to be a part of something without having done some prior research into your abilities and what you can do. So you can be assured that from their perspective, you are. And so does this not kind of become a moot point? So just as a shout out to any of my dancers out there who may have this feeling of enough when it comes to dance, being good enough, do I gig enough, do I post enough? Who is gauging this? Whose standards are you imposing on yourself? Because chances are no one else is. So that is just a few ways of how I plan and currently do use the word enough to help center me, to help remind me of my values, and to help guide me if I'm ever feeling a little bit lost. I would love to know if you practice this yourself. Do you set goals or have a word or a theme that helps guide you as you embark on the new year? If so, I would love to hear what that is. Leave a comment. I love talking about these things. And I wish you all the best in this year. It is the year of the wooden snake. So it is a great time to shed old thoughts or habits that no longer serve us and is a reminder that transformation is an ongoing journey. And I wish you prosperity and health and abundance in this year to come.